He's a serial entrepreneur, a coach, an investor, a host, a traveling investor radio show. And he pretty much just spent his time traveling around the world and studying those habits and the mindsets of highly successful people. So he have knowledge in that. So he started multiple businesses in different industries that includes clothing, renovation, restoration, jewelry, restaurant, and even real estate. So I'm glad to have him on board on today. And as he come up, I'm just glad. I'm gonna just let him have the floor and let him do what he do best in speaking. So I see he's already up here. So Mazan, glad to have you up here.
How are you?
Viewers?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Great.
I'm wondering why my camera is not working. Oh no. I gave communications, camera. Yeah. My camera was working earlier. There we go. Hey. How are you?
I'm doing well. How you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you. It's a little cold here in South Florida. It's a little chilly.
Okay. I'm used to Florida being a little bit warm, but
that's why I moved here, and suddenly it's in the 50s, and people we're freaking out. We don't know what to do. We don't have any winter clothes.
Oh wow! We in the 50s, but I'm not in Florida. I'm in the cold Illinois where it always like to snow.
There you go.
That's like new to me.
Sure.
But, yeah, I'm glad to have you on board. That you will be able to present to us. So I just let you go ahead and have the floor.
Okay, so thank you. So, again, my name is Nitzan Mosery. As Brittany mentioned, I traveled the world for many years. I'm originally from New York City, born and raised. And my father was the first entrepreneur that I'd ever met. And, he went out and he always did things for himself. And it was amazing to see how someone who didn't have a college education, someone who didn't have a high school education, right? He barely graduated the 6th grade. He grew up in the 20s, 30s, 40s. When he was 17 years old, he went into the military. So he didn't have a lot of formal education. But he did understand the difference between exchanging time for money and also building something that you can take control of. See, and that's one thing that I really understood and grasped from him was that, you can sit and build somebody else's empire, or you can go and you can build your own empire. Mark Cuban, he's one of the sharks on Shark Tank, and he owns, the Mavericks and whatnot. He's a billionaire. And a lot of successful entrepreneurs say the same thing. I would rather work 80 hours than work 40 hours, right? So you're probably thinking to yourself, well, that doesn't make sense, right? Why would you want to work 80 hours if you're, rather than 40 hours? See, because I would rather work 80 hours building something for myself than rather spending 40 hours building something for somebody else, right? When you're building your own company, when you're building your business, and it doesn't matter what it is, first of all, let's look at it from the tax perspective, right? There's a lot of tax incentives and tax breaks and all these things for an entrepreneur, right? Why do we always hear, oh, you know what, the rich people, they get the tax breaks, all the business owners, they get the tax breaks. And that's because we take all of the risk, right? We take the risk in creating a product, in taking out debt on our names, in creating the business, and in hiring people. So when we take on risk, we also take on the benefits of the tax breaks that we get as tax owners, right? Now, mind you, again, as I was listening to Kareem, and he's just a ball of energy, and he's fantastic. When we go out there and we build it for ourselves, there's a different mindset, right? And Kareem said, we have to respect those people that do love their jobs. They do enjoy going out there. And there are people that, and we respect them. they go out and they put in their time. They put in their 40 hours a week. They put in their job. They do it well. They put it with love and affection. And that is amazing, right? And we need people like that, as well as we need entrepreneurs as well. So I've gone out and, taking my father's lessons and learning from him and from my mother as well. My mother also barely graduated high school. She was one of the first female ambulance drivers and taxi drivers in Israel back in those times. So they were really pioneers in what they did. And they always understood that you got to go out and you got to fight for what you want. You got to go out and you got to put the time, you got to put the effort in so that you can create your business and create what you want. Now, as Brittany said, I traveled the world for many years. At the age of 25, my father passed away. And that's one thing I want to share also is that, the Dalai Lama once said, and I'm paraphrasing, he says, we spend our health making money. We spend our lives and our health making money, and then we spend all our money regaining and trying to rebuild our health. So as you're going out there and you're building your business and you're working, always make sure that you have your health. Always make sure that you're eating right, you're sleeping well, you're taking the right supplements, you're exercising, you've got the right mindset. Because if you don't have that, it doesn't matter how much money you don't have anything. And my father, he didn't take care of himself. So at the age of 25, when I was 25, I lost my father. And that was a big hit to my system. It was a big hit to me because, he was one of my mentors, my first, my parents were my first mentors, right? I looked up to them. So at the age of 27, I stopped what I was doing. I was working on Wall Street for a big stock brokerage company. I had clothing stores in the village of New York City as well. And I kind of said enough. And I moved back to Israel and I sat on the beach for about a year contemplating life, not knowing what was going on. And then I started traveling the world. And that really opened my eyes because I saw wealth beyond anything that I had ever seen before. And I'd seen poverty as well. Poverty like I'd never seen before. People that had less than nothing. I grew up in New York City and I saw, homeless people. They had things that some homeless people around the world didn't have. And it just really hit me and it hit home what we as people can do, right? Where we can go, how low can we get and how high can we get? And I studied the habits of poor people, of people that had nothing, people that were living in dumpsters, people that were living in sewers. I also studied the habits of spiritual people like His Holiness, the Dalai Lama, and other spiritual leaders all around the world. And I also studied the habits and mindset of wealthy people, okay? And I've gone out, and as Brittany mentioned, I've gone out and I've created and had many different companies. When I was in New York City, as I mentioned, I was a stockbroker. I had a restoration and renovation company. When I was traveling, I would make money by selling jewelry, right? One mentor, when I was young and growing up, he told me one thing. He said, find someone who has what you want, and do what they did, and you'll get what they got. So throughout my life, I was always searching for people that had what I wanted. When I was younger, it was all about the materialism. It was all about material wealth. I wanted people that had the sports cars, that had the watches, that were able to buy the $1,000 suits and, the $10,000, $1,000 shoes and $10,000 suits. That's what I was going after because that's what I thought was what we had to run after. So I created these businesses and I created all these different companies. And you know what I found? I found that all I did was create high-paying jobs for myself. Then I started looking around and I got older and I said, okay, what else is it that I want? Well, I want a lifestyle. I want to be able to do things. I want to be able to travel the world in style and in fashion. And I want to be able to pick up whenever I wanted to and leave. I want to be able to spend time with friends and family and not have to worry about my income. So then I said, how can I do that? How can I go out and create a business that will affect my lifestyle? And what I do today with my mentoring clients and my coaching clients is we talk first about lifestyle. When you're out there and you're looking to create, and it doesn't matter if you're creating an affiliate marketing company, if you're going out there and you're flipping houses, if you want to, whatever it is you're doing, it makes no difference. Okay? If you're a YouTuber and you're making videos and you're making money online, it doesn't make a difference what you're doing. The first thing we need to talk about and the first thing we need to look at is, what kind of a lifestyle do I want to create for myself? See, because before, what was happening was I was creating businesses and companies that dictated what kind of lifestyle I had to lead, right? I had to live. So for example, with my clothing stores, this was a brick and mortar. This was one place where I would have to go to every single day, open up the store and stay for 10, 12 hours in that one location. And then I would have, just like a job. And then I would only be able to go out on vacation for maybe a week to 2 weeks, a year, because I had to be at the store. When I was living in Israel, I created the first raw vegan restaurant. Nobody had ever heard of it before. It was something incredible. And I was getting huge publicity, and people were coming from all over the country to see what this new restaurant, this new type of food was. But guess what? I would have to be at the store, at the restaurant at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I would close the restaurant at 12, 1 o'clock, and clean and all that 7 days a week. And when I wasn't at the restaurant, food came out cold. It didn't come out correctly. The dishes weren't made properly. So I learned that I had to be there all the time. Hence, my business dictated my lifestyle. I didn't want that for myself. I didn't want that for my family. At the time when I had the restaurant, my wife was pregnant with my first child, and I didn't want that. I missed that whole 9 months of pregnancy because I was stuck in that restaurant. I finally closed that restaurant, and I moved on and moved back to the United States, and I started flipping houses. And I realized also that while I was flipping houses, it was just another high-paying job for me. I didn't want that for myself. I said, how can I create something that will revolve around my lifestyle rather than my lifestyle revolving around my business? So when I talk to my clients, and I get a lot of mentoring clients, and they find me all through the internet, and if you want, you can check out my YouTube channel. It's called The Traveling Investor. I also have a radio show called The Traveling Investor Radio Show. That's on W4CY.com. It happens every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern. But when I talk to my mentor clients, we talk about the lifestyle. What kind of lifestyle do you want to live? Do you want to be in one place all the time and only go on vacation for 2 weeks out of the year? Do you want to have a set schedule where you know that you're at the office at 9 o'clock and you leave at 5 o'clock and you leave your work at the office and you go home and that's what it is and that's okay? Or do you want to live the lifestyle of someone who has control of their life, who can go, and I call this, I call it mailbox money, right? Where you go to the mailbox, you open up the mailbox, and there's money waiting for you, whether you went to the office or not. This is what I help my coaching clients and my mentor clients create. We talk about the lifestyle. What do you want? You want to be able to travel. You want nice things, right? You want to be able to go to your children's rehearsals and shows and whatnot and not be on a business trip because your boss sent you there, right? What kind of lifestyle do you want to live? And then we build that business around your lifestyle. Now, one of the best ways of doing that is creating passive income. Right? And again, there's affiliate marketing online. There's all these different ways of doing businesses today. What we want to make sure is that we create the business so that it can revolve around our lifestyle rather than us revolving around our business. And when you understand this, it's like a big aha moment, right? And I heard Kareem talk about it as well. We're never taught this in school. In all the books that I've read about success, mindset, out of all the wealthy people that I've learned from and that I've interviewed in my radio show, we interview successful people, right? The tagline of my radio show is we learn how to master your mind, body, and wallet, because it's a holistic project. You cannot take one piece out and just focus on that. You cannot just focus on the mind, because if you focus on the mind, then the body withers away and the wallet disappears, and then you can't focus on the mind anymore. Then the mind shifts. If you focus just on the wallet, just on the business, just on gaining money, you're focusing on the wrong thing, and at the end, on your deathbed, you're going to question everything that you did in life, because you know what? We can't take money with us when we die. We leave it all behind. And the body, if we ignore the body, just like my father ignored his body, well then, you know what? We're going to die at a young age. We're going to suffer. We're going to be ill. We're going to be sick. We won't have the energy to play with our children. We won't have the energy to travel. We won't even have the energy or the body or the health to continue our business. So when we look at it, it's a holistic being, right? We have to look at it complete as a whole. Your mind, body, and wallet. So I interview successful people in the mind realm, right? Psychologists, psychiatrists, mindset coaches. How can we focus? How can we focus our mind so that we're focusing on the right thing? And one of my clients, I learn a lot from my clients, right? One of my clients once said, the mind that focuses on the problem cannot be the same mind that focuses on the solution. And that is huge. I'm going to say that again. And you might want to write this down. The mind that focuses on the problem cannot focus on the solution, or cannot create the solution. Because whatever we focus on, and that's and I'm going to give you a little secret here. This is the way of the universe. Okay? Well, this is a major law of the universe. Whatever we focus on expands. So if we focus on the problem, if we focus on worrying, if we focus on the lack of money, the lack of health, the lack of energy, the lack of love, guess what? This is what's going to expand in our lives. But if we do a shift, that mind shift, right? And we get into a state, a positive state, a high energy state. We saw Kareem and we saw the other speakers, high energy. When we are high energy, when we are focusing, and we've got that energy blowing out of our mind and out of our bodies, then we can focus on the solutions. Then we ask the universe to bring to us the solutions. And I'm going to share with you something here, and then you're going to say, well, yeah, but that doesn't really work. Well, let me ask you this. Have you ever gone out and bought a car, and you've been really excited about that car, and now you're driving, let's just say it's a Toyota, whatever it is, right? Toyota, Honda, Tesla, Mercedes, whatever car you're driving. Suddenly, when you're on the road, and everybody's driving that car. Everybody, you see it everywhere. Oh, there's another one, and there's another one. How come I didn't see this before? Because your mind, your RAS, the reticular activating system in your mind, wasn't focused on that. It wasn't, and that's the system that's connected to the universe. You weren't focused on that, but now you're focused on it, and suddenly the universe is making you see it all over the place. And that's the same thing with our mindset. So when we focus on the problem, that's what we're going to see. More problems. When we focus on arguing with our spouse or with our girlfriend or boyfriend, that's what we're going to have more. If we focus on the lack of money, that's what we're going to have. Lack of money. But guess what happens when you focus on the opposite? When you focus on love, when you focus on abundance, when you focus on finding solutions, when you stop worrying, guess what the universe is going to do? The universe now says, oh my God, look, they're focusing on positivity. They're high energy. They're positive. They're focusing on solutions. That means that we have to provide solutions for them. And guess what? Suddenly your solutions will be all around you, but we have to be open to seeing that. And the same thing with the body. When we focus on health, when we focus on how do I feed my body the good stuff, that's what we get. We get positive energy. Okay? So it all depends on what we're focusing on. So I want you guys to start focusing on positive, on finding the solutions, not the worrying. We all have problems. You know, the only people that don't have problems are dead people. We all have problems. I have challenges in my life and in my business. I'm sure Brittany has challenges and obstacles in her business and in her lifestyle, with our families, with our children, with bills, with all this, especially now we have this pandemic. Everybody's got worries. But let's focus on positivity. So in my radio show, we bring on people that help us focus on our mind, body, and wallets so that we can focus. But what I want to get back to is when I'm interviewing these people, and when I was traveling, never once did anybody talk about going to college to get wealthy. No one. We've all heard of Elon Musk, right? Created the Tesla automobile. He was the first one to do it. Now he's doing SpaceX and he's launching and he wants us to get us to Mars. The guy is a genius, okay? The guy is unbelievable. He's at a different world. He's on a different level, on a different plane than we're at, right? We can't comprehend some of the things that he thinks about. But he says in all of the podcasts and all of the radio shows and all the interviews, he says you don't have to go to college today. You don't have to go to school to become wealthy. My dad, as I mentioned before, didn't go to school. You know what he did though? He took action. He took massive action and he went out and he did it. He didn't look back and say, oh my God, what if I fail? How many of us have that mindset? Well, what if I fail? What if I don't succeed? What if I don't do it? So what? We all fail. We all lose. If you're an athlete, how many times have you lost? Let's look at Michael Jordan, right? When he was in high school, his coach didn't even play him. He said, nah, man, don't play basketball. You're not going to go any further. You're not going to go anywhere with it. If he had the mindset of a loser, and that's what he focused on, we would not have had the honor and the privilege of seeing someone like him do the things that he did on the basketball court. But he said, I'm not going to listen to that guy. He went out and he took massive action and he played his ass off. He played his heart out. And he went and he didn't care how many times he lost. And Nike had a great commercial that they used him for, right? And I'm paraphrasing, I don't know the exact numbers, but in the commercial, you see him pulling up before a game and the voiceover says, I missed 10,000 free throws. I missed 1,000 3-pointers. I've been fouled out 500 times. But that's why I'm Michael Jordan. The amount of times that you fail will determine the amount of times that you succeed. Now, it doesn't matter what you do. Again, it doesn't matter if you're an online business. It doesn't matter if you're a brick and mortar business. It doesn't matter what you do. Okay? You got to have the right success mentality and the success philosophies. Okay? So one of the first success philosophies that we got to talk about is mindset. You got to have the right mindset. And what's the right mindset? The right mindset is, I'm going to make this no matter what. I am a success. I am a success. You see how I'm talking? Not, I am going to be a success. I want to be successful. Oh, maybe I'll do it. No. I am a success. And when you start thinking that way and you start putting it out into the universe must respond in kind. Okay? I am a success. Mindset. We also have to understand that it's okay to fail. It is okay to fail. Because failure is part of success. Because you can't have success without failing. Right? Let's look at when we were babies. Right? I don't know if you guys listening in, if you have children or, remember when you see children, little toddlers, when we were babies and we started crawling, right? Or we started, we're laying on our backs as little infants, right? We start to roll over. Oh, we rolled over one way, we rolled over half on our side and then rolled back. Our lives, up until we started walking, were full of failures. We failed on how to crawl. We failed how to stand until we got it right. To crawl, we start crawling backwards before we can crawl forwards. Before we take a step, we stand up, we fall back down. We fail. But we don't look at it as failure. Somewhere along the line of our education, in these school systems, we're taught that failure is horrible. Because when you take a test, they tell you, well, you got 6 wrong. Yeah, but I got 24 right, or whatever it is. They don't focus on what you got right. But our entire lives is built on failure. We fail walking. We fail on this. We fail on that. I mean, how many of us are married? How many of us have gone through relationship after relationship? Those were failures until we found the right one. So it's okay to fail. You have to fail. All right? First thing you need to understand is failure is okay. I have a saying, the road to success is paved with failure. You know, I buy apartment buildings now. I put teams together and I bring investors together and we fail. We've done projects that didn't work out. We've done more projects that worked out that didn't work out. But it's okay to fail. So that's the mindset. Now, another thing with the mindset is don't look at the negative. Focus on the positive. Okay? Mindset. The other positive success philosophy is you gotta take action. Right? Forget about the how. How do I do this? How do I create? How do I go out and create positive? How do I go about doing this? Right? How do I go out and create a business? How do I go out and do? Don't worry about the how. Don't worry about the how. The how will come. First, you got to ask why. Why do I want to do this? Well, I want to make a shitload of money. Ooh, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. Sorry. I want to make a ton of money. It's not a good enough why, because what happens if you make a ton of money? Then what? Money cannot be the reason why. Well, I want it for my kids. That can't be your why either, because what happens when your kids grow up and they leave? What happens if you don't have kids? Oh, I want to do it for this. I want to do it for... You got to have your why. Your why will then create the passion and the desire, which will give you the energy and the strength to move beyond any obstacle and failure that will come your way. I have a saying, it says that character is determined by the size of the obstacle that gets you to where you need to go. Okay? So your why is huge. Okay? We need to have that strong why. That why will create your passion. Find what you're passionate about. Okay? Find out why do you want to do it. I'm doing what I'm doing is because I want to create an entrepreneurial school that takes kids from wee big till people who are 50, 60 years old and teach them success philosophies. That we're doing exactly what we're doing right now because the school systems today are broken. I see my kids, they're in school, they went to a private Montessori school, now they're in public high school. No one teaches them about success philosophies. No one teaches them about the value of money. No one teaches them, hey, you know what? Certain debt is good, right? No one teaches them how to invest properly, right? No one teaches them how to use other people's money, other people's energy, other people's skills, other people's talents. They're not taught how to delegate authority, right? People always ask me, what's the number one skill an entrepreneur should have? And I say it's the art of delegation, right? Going back to creating the business around the lifestyle that you want. How do you do that? Well, you got to learn how to delegate. You got to learn how to bring people on to their skill sets, right? To bring people on so that they can complement your skill sets. Well, you have to create your inventory list, right? Of what your skill sets are. What do I bring to the table? What do I need help with? And then create that list so that you can go out and bring people to your team and build your team around you. And then you're just managing people, and it doesn't matter what it is. It can be affiliate marketing. It could be online sales. It could be whatever it is. Whatever it is. It could even be real estate investing. You want to have a team in place, right? You want to build your team. Now, I don't know how much longer I have, but I'm just going to continue talking until Brittany tells me, hey, it's time to go, okay? So, mindset, right? Then you got to have your why. Don't worry about the how. Don't worry about the how. Why? Why is it that I want to do what I want to do, right? Now, a lot of people say, well, how do I find my why? How do I create that why? And one of the things I teach people, right, my clients, is sit down. Go into a room where you're comfortable, close the door, tell your family, tell your friends, turn off your phone, right? And start, and just, you can close the lights, you can have the lights on, maybe have a pad or paper with you, right? So that you can start taking notes. But I want you to start visualizing your life as if you have everything that you want. You have the house that you want, the family that you want. You have the money that you want, right? How much money do you have in the bank? How much passive income do you have coming at you every single month without working? What kind of car are you driving? What kind of body do you have, right? Are you healthy? Are you this? Visualize everything, right? And with a smile on your face, visualize it, right? Now, you've got everything in life that you want. Why are you going to wake up the next day and continue working? What is it that is going to drive you when you have everything? Now, it takes time. It's not going to come the first 5 minutes, 10 minutes. It may not come the first hour. It may not come the first week, the second week, the month. It may not even happen for a year. And that's okay. But the more you do it, right? Now remember, what was the first thing we talked about? What you focus on, the universe has to bring to you. So when you're sitting there and you're visualizing yourself already in that lifestyle, the universe says, oh my God, we have to create this lifestyle for that person, right? But you got to figure out why you want that lifestyle, why you want the business that you have, why do you want to do what you're doing? Because in life, right, we're going to get what we deserve, not what we want. You see, success is not about the destination. Success is about the path, is about the journey, is about the person that we become on that journey to success. And I learned it many ways. I remember when I was in India, I was traveling in India. I traveled the world for 6-7 years with an empty backpack, and I went and I traveled the world, and it was unbelievable. And I could share stories for days. But I remember one time I wanted to ski the Himalayan mountains. And I finally ended up on top of one of the most beautiful mountain ridges in the Himalayan mountains in India. And I'm at the top, and I'm looking, and I'm there, and I'm like, wow, I can't believe I'm here. I reached my dream. I reached my goal. And then I said, okay. I took it in for a half hour, an hour, a couple of hours. I was there. I enjoyed it. I skied. I went down. I looked at it. It was beautiful. And then I said, now what? Now what? But I'll tell you, hitting that goal, the journey that I went through, right? That journey took me losing my father, moving to Israel, then ending up in India, which I never thought I would go to. And then the whole journey and the person that I became, the spiritual person that I became, all of the past that I had to let go to become this person. The journey was what is incredible. The journey, the people that I met, right? All the obstacles that I had to overcome, all of the tragedies that went along with that, and all of the joy that went for me to get to that top of the mountain. See, the top of the mountain was great, but it didn't last a long time. But the journey to reaching that goal made me who I am today. And that's another success philosophy that you have to keep in mind. It's not the destination that you have to worry about. It's good to have your goal, but I want you to focus on the journey. I want you to enjoy the journey. I want you to be present with all of the ups and downs, okay? But you need to have that why so that you can push forward when there's that downstroke, when there's an obstacle, when there's a challenge, when there's a problem that's in front of you, right? When you fail, you need to have that why and that passion and that desire so that you can continue moving forward, okay? Because I'm telling you, success is not easy. That's why only 3% of the population are successful. And that's why only 1% of the population is ultra successful, because they do whatever it takes. And that's another success philosophy. You got to do whatever it takes. Obviously, that's illegal, right? You don't want to go out and rob a bank to get the money, but you got to do whatever it takes. Right? You gotta go and, if you're flipping houses, you gotta be the one that's doing the drywall. You gotta be the one that's painting. You gotta do whatever it takes. You gotta wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning if that's what it takes. Tomorrow, I'm waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning to get on a plane to go to Georgia to be at my properties. And I'm missing my entire holiday. Tonight is the first night of Hanukkah. Tonight I'm going to be with my family. I'm missing 7 days of Hanukkah with my family because I got to do what it takes, because my investors, my residents, my business is there. Now, yes, sometimes, my business does revolve around my lifestyle, but sometimes we got to do certain things. You got to do whatever it takes, okay? That's just the nature of the beast, right? So, mindset. You got to find your why, right? You got to have that. That why is huge, okay? Then you got to do whatever it takes, and you got to take massive action. Massive amounts of action, right? You got to go out and just start doing. People say, well, how do you write a book? I don't know. Grab a pen, grab a piece of paper, start taking notes, start putting notes on a piece of paper and start writing. How do I build a business? Well, we got Google today, right? Don't worry about the how. What do I do? Where do I go? See, now another success philosophy, and we talked about it, is delegating. Delegating authority, right? Building that team. You gotta have a team, right? And I don't want to be, cliche-ish or whatnot or whatnot, but what does team stand for? TEAM. It stands together, everyone achieves more. See, let me ask you like this, right? I have 10 people on my team. Each person works 10 hours a day, right? So if 10 people, 10 hours a day, that's 100 hours a day that are working with me, for me, to build the business. Can I work 100 hours a day? No, we don't have 100 hours a day. But when I bring in a team of people who are smarter than me and better than me, right? I'm the weakest link. Then I have 10 people. Then it's like me working 100 hours a day. And if that's 5 days a week, that's 500 hours of work that is moving my business, my company, my dream forward, right? And then if you look at any other company, it's built that way. You got the one person sitting on top, and they've got a huge company of people below them working. IBM, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, right? How many people are working for Amazon, right? How many affiliates are there for Amazon? So many people. And he's sitting on top, and he's collecting a little bit from everyone. That's another success philosophy that you got to have, right? You got to be willing to take a little bit from a lot of people. I would rather take a little bit from 100 people than 10% from 100 people than 100% just from myself, because I'm not the smartest guy. I don't know how to manipulate Excel spreadsheets. I don't know how to do any of that. I bring people on my team that know how to do that they're better than me at doing that, right? And then I can feed off of their success strategies. And you don't have to go to school to learn that. You won't learn that in school. You won't even learn that in college. I went to 5 years of college, and I never graduated, okay? But what I did do is I remembered that one thing that person said to me when I was younger. Find someone who has what you want. You do what they did, and you'll get what they got. Right? I don't know how much longer I have, Brittany. Do you want to tell me how much longer? Am I good? Are we running over time? But so I want you to leave with this. Okay? I want to leave you with this. It's about you. It's all about you. Okay? Success philosophies, mindset. Find your why. And it's not about the how, but it's about the who. Who can help you build your team together and learn how to delegate? How are we doing?
We're doing good. You have time, so I ain't want to overlap time. We have enough time. So your message was definitely great, and I was just back in notes, so I was listening as she was talking. So I was definitely here. So I was listening to what you were saying, that how we gotta have PAS, particular activity system, and I just love that information that you was giving about that, about how you gotta create awareness, and having that awareness is pretty much is like when you think of something, you pretty much like see it all the time. And so since you see it all the time, you aware of it, that it's happening. So say for instance, you think about a yellow car, you want a yellow Lamborghini. I'm pretty sure you gave this example. And then all of a sudden you driving in your own car, and then all of a sudden you see a yellow Lamborghini. Up 10 minutes later, you see it again. So I like how you was bring that out, how you gotta bring awareness and how you gotta get that awareness. And also with that, you were saying it's okay to fail. A lot of people, they don't like to fail.
Mm-hmm.
They just want to succeed all the time and just have success. But you saying it's okay to fail. And when I was listening to that, I was saying failing forward. You got to fail forward. If you want to go, you got to fail forward.
Absolutely.
So it's fine. It's part of success. So if you want to have success, you got to fail. Like many of businesses, they just didn't just succeed.
Mm-hmm.
Just when they started, they succeeded when they had some failures, they had some roadblocks, they had some barriers. You know, they got stuck, so they had to go back to the drawing board and do something else different. You know,
That's
so
right.
I'm like, this is some great stuff that you were saying about this failure. So I thank you for that information. Unless you want to elaborate on anything else.
It's just, it's all about the mindset. When we're looking at successful people, we have to ask, how did they become successful? Right? Like you said, they failed. They failed multiple times, but they never quit. Quitting is not an option. You just have to find a way to do it. And when you fail, for me, it shows, well, you know what? That didn't work. Okay, let me try something else. Well, that didn't work. Well, you know what? A little bit of that worked, but that didn't work. Okay, let me take what worked and let me elaborate on that. Let me build on it, right? And it's so okay to fail. We're trained to think that failure is bad. No, you can't fail. You have to be perfect. There's nobody perfect, right? We all fail. I was reading an article about investments and whatnot, and the article said every single Excel model, every pro forma model, every model that talks to investors is incorrect. There's mistakes in every single model. And you're thinking, oh my God. So all these stock companies and all these IPO companies and all these big, multi-billion-dollar companies, they worked on a Excel spreadsheet that had mistakes. It's okay, but you can never quit. Don't ever quit, And I want to be kitsch or whatnot, but, Sylvester Stallone in one of his Rocky movies was talking to his son, and he says, no one is going to hit harder than life. No one is going to knock you down harder than life, but it's not about how many times you get knocked down. It's about how many times you get back up. Yeah. And that's what separates successful people from not successful people, is how many times you get back up. Get back up. Man, I got knocked down. Oh boy. All right, let's do it again. Let's figure it out, right? And always look to people who are smarter and better at what you want to do and learn from them.
Yeah.
That's key.
That is definitely key. You get back up and get back up again and do it again and again.
Absolutely. Now, if you keep doing the same thing over again, expecting a different result, well, we know that's the definition of insanity, right? So if we're doing something and it doesn't work, well, you got to adjust, you got to pivot, you got to change, right? You got to say, okay, what did we do? That didn't work. Now let's try something else, right? Thomas Edison with the light bulb, right? The story is he created 10,000 light bulbs before he got what we have today. And imagine if after the 10th time he said, it's not going to work. Or if Tesla himself, right? If he would have failed and didn't do what he did, we wouldn't have his ideas and his knowledge. And if Elon Musk, look at Elon Musk. How many of his rocket ships blew up even before they left the ground? That's hundreds of millions of dollars. Hundreds of millions of dollars that poof, in flames right then. Imagine if he would have said, I'm done. We wouldn't have the rockets that can go back up and back down today, and we wouldn't be on the road to landing on Mars. So don't worry if you fail. It's okay to fail. It really is. Understanding that, hey, you know what? I'm going to fail. I'm going to fail. I know I'm going to fail. Accept it. And then just move on with it. then just move on with it. Create the business that you want that's going to enhance your lifestyle and it's going to revolve around your lifestyle by building the team that can help you build your business, right? It's all about the teamwork. And again, it doesn't matter if you're online, offline, if you're a YouTuber, if you're doing things on TikTok, it doesn't matter what you're doing. Build a team. Build a team around you, because you could, I see a lot of these people on TikTok, right? And they're like, oh, hey, affiliate marketing is great. And look at the warehouse I have behind me. And, but they're the ones that are packaging the stuff and putting the label on it and sending it out. And, they're there. What happens if they get sick? What happens if they don't want to do that anymore? What happens if they go on vacation? Their business doesn't make any more money again, right? You got to automate it. You got to put it on autopilot. You got to build a team to help you do that. Right? The who can I bring on my team to help me do what I need to do? Right? I've always said I'm not the smartest guy, but I know one thing. I got to bring people on my team who are smarter than me, who can do the things that I can't do, that I don't like to do, that I don't want to do. Have them do that.
That's great. I appreciate that. And that information to fill in. It's okay to fail and all that. I appreciate all that information, and I'm pretty sure my assistant's gonna put in your promotional offer as well.
Absolutely.
So that promotional link is pretty much, it's a free copy of your ebook.
That's right.
Book called roadmap.com, the 5 steps.
Mm-hmm.
So
right. TTI, right? So the Traveling Investor Roadmap, and what it is, it gives you the 5 steps on how you can go and you can start buying real estate, right? Rental properties, a duplex, 4-plex, 10-unit apartment complex, 100-unit, without your money, without your knowledge, without your experience, right? Without knowing how to do it. It talks about creating a team. It talks about the different steps. Everything that I do in my business, on how I built my business and how I buy properties. We just closed on a 64-unit property in San Antonio, Texas, and I live in Florida, right? We just closed on it 2 weeks ago. That was a $5 million deal. I did it without any of my own money. And we get this thing called an acquisition fee. So $5 million times, and it's about a 3% acquisition fee, which means that I get a fee, my team gets a fee for putting the deal together. That's $150,000 for putting the deal together. Okay? I get my share of, but I did it without any of my own money. There's people on my team that are smarter than me. I raised money from investors. So I talk about all that, how to find the properties, how to find the right markets to be in, right? What are the clues? How to talk to people, how to network, how to get investors, how to analyze a property and make sure that this is the property that you want, and how to close on it and manage it and so forth. So I want to give it to everybody that's here today. Check it out, look at it, and if anybody has any questions about how to get started, what to do, who do I need to build my team, go read it. It's full of information so that you can go out and build a real estate business, if that's what you want, that will revolve around your lifestyle. You see, I built my business around my lifestyle. My lifestyle is, as soon as my kids are out of school in June, we get on a road, we get in the car, we get on a plane, and we're gone for 8, 9, 10 weeks until about a week before school starts again. And that's awesome, because I can take my laptop, I can take my phone, and while we're hiking in the mountains, while we're in Norway, while we're in the West Coast on the mountains, and if I have to do a conference call, or if I have to do something, I plug my little, my AirPod, and my phone is in my back, and I can conduct business while I'm hiking with my family, while we're skiing, while we're on a plane traveling somewhere. So if that's what you guys want to do, if you want to learn how to do that, feel free to reach out to me. Please take my roadmap, check it out. Ask me any questions. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, LinkedIn, everywhere. As the Traveling Investor, you can find me there.
Awesome. Thank you so much, and I appreciate your message. You got it all there. Go ahead and check him out. He's everywhere, YouTube, on social media. Go ahead and check him out. I thank you for your message, and you have a great, blessed day.
Thank you. You too, guys. And I wish everybody success, happiness. And I want to leave you with one thing that one of my all-time favorite speakers, Jim Rohn, used to say. It says the wind of change, the wind of opportunity, and the wind of success blows on us all the same way. But it's how we set our sails on our boat that determines where we go. So it's up to you. Success and opportunity is all around us. It's how you see it and what you do with it that will determine where you go in life. I want to thank you so much for letting me be here, and I appreciate speaking to everybody and sharing the message.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right, take care, guys.
Oh man, and that was great, you guys. This information was great. Again, you can catch him on all the social media if you want to reach out to him. Make sure you get his promotional link where you can get his free copy of ebook, as well as reach out to him on different social media platforms and all that good stuff. So I appreciate you being part of this today, and we are pretty much